Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2020 with Newcastle United. It is season 10. It is the final season in charge of Newcastle United because basically I've realised pretty much taken them as far as I can. The last 4 seasons, or 5 seasons actually, in the Premier League, we finished 7th, 6th, 3rd, 6th and 6th. I don't think I'm going to be able to take Newcastle much further than what I've currently done. At the end of the last episode, I mentioned how my game crashed and I've now qualified for the Europa League. Well, I pressed continue a few more times and I'm back into the Europa Cup too. So yeah, don't worry about it. We're in the competition that we should have been in. I guess we're going to have to win it. As always, at the start of a new season, we've done a whole load of transfers and we have made £174 million. We've also spent about £70 million. And you'll see here, Adonam had some offers. The biggest one being £68 million for Manchester United. That was rejected. Christchole had an offer of £125 million from Man City. And that one I rejected as well. We have got rid of a fair amount of players. Some first team players, but I'm hoping I've replaced them. So there's 8 major-ish transfers to talk about, and we're going to fly through some of the cheaper ones very quickly. Georges Corre, the Ivorian goalkeeper, has left, signing for ASEC Mimosas for about £175,000. Never played a league game for us, but was on the bench pretty much all of last season. Argentine defender Gaston Yacaruso has finally left the club, signing for Lokomotiv Moscow for about £4 million, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, £4 million, rising to £5 million. Another Ivorian to leave the club is Anderson Traore, 22 years of age now, signing for Augsburg. We signed him for £450,000. We've sold him for £4.4 million, potentially rising to £5.5 million. The final Ivorian to leave the club is Big Dids. He has left the club because I've basically realised we've got much better options now, haven't we? Big Dids, 25 years of age, 44 caps for the Ivory Coast, 92 appearances for the first team, signing for Marseille in France for, I think, £15 million. I thought there was more than that. Nope, just £15 million. Helinho has also left the club, signing for Everton. Didn't really get too much football last season. 12 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 man of the match award. Spent £10 million on him, sold him for nearly £25 million. We're getting into silly money now. Matteo Guendouzi leaving the club, going north of the border to join Celtic for over £30 million. This one probably might be a bad decision. He only had a year left on his contract, so I basically decided to cash in, but he was homegrown. We started to run out of homegrown players. For some reason, Borussia Dortmund decided to splash £35 million on a striker who didn't score a single goal last season. Franco Di Matteo leaving the club. Formerly of Inter Milan, we bought him for £2.1 million, sold him for £35 million. 14 appearances last season, not a single goal in any one of those games. Actually, it was more of 22 appearances. He got 1 in a non-competitive match. And finally, something that might not be a good idea either is Lewis Cook leaving the club, 31 years of age now, will be 32 in February next year, signing for Premier League rivals Arsenal for nearly £45 million, if I'm not mistaken, 37.5, rising to 46.5, there you go. I basically got rid of him because he was getting annoyed he wasn't playing in the Europa League, of all competitions. He didn't want Champions League, he wanted Europa League. I don't understand, but we've cashed in on him. That's pretty much all of the big name transfers. Joining the club then, 2 permanent deals and 2 loan deals. Starting off with the first of the permanent deals, it is EGOITZ MUNOZ. As we all know, the 24-year-old Spanish central defender has spent the last 2 years on loan at us. He's now signed for £20 million, £10 million up front, £10 million over the next 3 years, I think it is, maybe 2 years, something along those lines. But yeah, EGOITZ is here on a permanent deal, which is part of the reason why Big Dids left. Joining the club on loan from Chelsea is Robert Coleman. He is a central defender and a central midfielder. He is English. Pretty much all we can say about him. He's not going to play a lot of football, but he's English. That's what we need. Also joining on loan is English right back from Southampton. English right and left back actually from Southampton. GIORGOS KYRIAKOU. Doesn't sound particularly English, but he's English. I don't know whether he's 100% English. He's part Cypriot. There you go. That's where the name comes from. Much like Coleman, KYRIAKOU has joined as a backup. Basically, he is going to be our second left back because we have Restrepo, Helinho got sold, we then have Marlon Charles. Marlon Charles is a winger, so we need another left back. And finally, the Lewis Cook and Matteo Guendouzi replacement. He's going to have to replace 2 players. It is Bill Melbourne, who is 19 years old, 2 England caps to his name, formerly of Swansea City, has just been relegated. We've spent £54 million on this man. He has broken a club record, which was weirdly Jamie Shackleton, I think. But Bill Melbourne has joined the long list of extremely expensive English central midfielders that seem to have joined the club. He's going to be good. I hope he's going to be good. He's already played once for us in the Europa League qualifier things, so he's started off well. Still plenty of other transfers to talk about very quickly. John Lawrence, Daniel Horton and Karim Tuna, Julian Evans, Serge Bolly, Daniel Garcia all leaving the club for various amounts of money, and some of them no money whatsoever. Gregory Bernal has gone out on loan to Hoffenheim, Trevor Dolan, the goalkeeper, to Oldham, and Rory Kane to Blythe. The transfer window also is closed. We still have £136 million to spend. I don't know why I didn't decide to splurge. Maybe when January comes round, we go absolutely nuts and we spend £100 million on a striker that we probably don't need. Before we get into the one game of the episode, it's still very talky, isn't it? We've played one match already in the Europa League or Europa Cup 2 best third place qualifying round first leg against Dynamo Bucharest. It was a 3-0 victory. Bill Melbourne, Marlon Charles and Fernando Zelaya with the goals. Today we're going to be playing Leicester City in the Premier League, the opening game of the season, and I'm hoping we can just get some 3 points early on the board. That wasn't really a sentence, but you understood what I meant. I hope you did. So it is the Sunday afternoon and there are only 3 more games left to play of the opening weekend. We, obviously, mid-table because we haven't played yet. Top of the table is going to be Manchester United. Yes, it is because they beat Southampton 6-1. So, already Man United scoring loads and loads of goals. The starting lineup then for the Leicester game. We are sticking with the 4-1-2-3 DM wide Gegenpress. In goal will be Adonam. A back 4 of Marlon Charles, Andre Zelaya and Delati. Delati is playing because Johnny Santos has been away at the Olympic Games of all things, and I think he might have won it as well with Portugal. Midfield triangle then of Charles Cesar, Christ Churley and Bill Melbourne, the new signing. Edson will be on the right-hand side. The bad boy Bobby Mills will be on the left-hand side, and Eduardo Romero will be the striker. This season is going to be the bad boy's time to shine. He's not a left winger by any means, but I'm training him up as an inside forward on that left-hand side. If we change it to what he's going to be that. He's got some decent numbers in the right places. Physically, he's spot on. Mentally, he's actually not too bad. Technically, he's where he potentially needs a little bit of work, but he's the bad boy Bobby Mills. He gets sent off on his debut in an FA Cup final or Carabao Cup final, one of them. Well, Leicester City's side looks quite strange because there's a lot of real people there. Butland, Foyth, Conser, Beltran, Douglas Luiz, McCalmont, Reece Nelson, Leroy Sané, Tammy Abraham. They've got a lot of real boys in their squad. We've got none. Not a single one in our starting 11. Or on our bench by the looks of it. Let's start the season off with a nice, comfortable victory against, I assume, a pretty good Leicester side. Although if they're all real players, they must be all in their 30s by now. First highlight of the game starts with Marlon Charles. Romero collects it. He's going to run inside. Where is the man going to go? Didn't know where he's from. I think Uruguay, possibly. Marlon Charles gets it on that left-hand side. He's cutting inside. Goes for goal. Marlon Charles' effort just goes wide of the post. Corner for Christ Churley to take towards the middle. Edson's there, doesn't manage to get it. The bad boy Bobby Mills collects. Goes round his man, crosses in. At the back post is Eduardo Romero. It is 1-0, 17 minutes on the clock. The bad boy and Eduardo combining to give us the opening goal of the game. Highlights straight after the goal. Never a good sign. Sforza with the ball to Conser. Back to Sforza. Leicester have it inside their own half. Plays it onto the right-hand side to find Reece Nelson. Got some company in front of him. It's going to be the bad boy, isn't it? Is he going to go straight through the back of him? McCalmont with the ball now. Fran Beltran near the centre circle finds Douglas Luiz. Leicester actually doing really well so far on this first highlight for them. Douglas Luiz with the ball back once again. Leroy Sané potentially going to get on the end of it. Keeps it in play. Plays it back to Bierhoff. Crosses in. Front post. Timmy Abraham is there. And Reece Nelson's effort is wide. It's Tammy Abraham. I assume it's Tammy. It's definitely not going to be Timmy, is it? Throw for Foyth to take. Sforza plays it across. Yes, he does. Finds Conser in the middle. Dinks it forward. The bad boy intercepts it. Runs inside. It does Bobby Mills. Now Bill Melbourne plays it back to Fernando Zelaya. Now is it our chance to pass the ball around to make it look really fancy. Adnam, the subject of quite a few offers during the summer. Andre to Chole. Chole now to Bill Melbourne in the centre circle. I think Bill Melbourne is going to be a really good player for us. We've gone back to Adnam again, haven't we? What is this highlight? What is going to happen from this? Kicks it upfield. Melbourne controls it. We're still in the centre circle. Chole now runs forward past number 4. Keeps going down that left-hand side. Across to Marlon Charles. He's got 3 in the middle. Romero's one of them. His effort hits the top of the bar and goes over. 10 minutes left to play of the first half. And we're doing good. We are doing good. I'd like to get a second goal before half-time. Or just anywhen. Maybe a highlight. No? Okay. Half-time it is 1-0 then. And I think we're looking good value for our money. Just the 3 shots, 2 on target for Leicester. We've had 11 and 5. Do need to think about bringing off Delati because he wasn't particularly match fit to begin with. And he's just getting worse. So we are going to do MUNOZ. EGOITZ MUNOZ. Can you play as a wing-back on attack? Maybe. You can't cross or dribble. Maybe, is that a good thing? Maybe we try KYRIAKOU. Can you cross or dribble? You're worse. Okay. We're gonna go with MUNOZ. Fair enough. I don't know if you realised as well, our subs bench does also have Greg Huddle on there. I'm going to try and bring in as many of our sort of youth players, fringe players, throughout this entire season because this is our last chance. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen this season. Abraham with the ball. Foyth collects it. Abraham with plenty of space. McCalmont goes for goal. Blasts it into the bottom corner. 56.5 minutes on the clock. Leicester City find themselves on level terms. Not the ideal start to the second half. Right. Give them a demand more. They've still only had 1 additional shot. Reece Nelson with a free kick, 65 minutes. What is going to come from this highlight? In the middle, Fran Beltran with it. Nelson's going to get that ball back, isn't he? Beltran being pressured, plays it back to Bierhoff in the centre circle. Eduardo Romero has nicked the ball away, runs one-on-one with the keeper, goes for goal, slots his effort just wide of the post. Need to do ourselves another change. It is going to be Edson coming off. Captain Edson, by the way, coming off. It's going to be Greg Huddle. Yep, this is another thing. I think I might be training him up. Yeah, I'm training him up as a central midfielder. Maybe Greg Huddle's not the one we go for. We're going to go with Gerard Deeney and Chole's going to come off for Greg Huddle. There we go. That's what we're doing. I'm playing all the kids in all the wrong places. Although I'm pretty sure Greg Huddle's, 23 now, isn't he? We've got a goal kick with Adnam. 13 minutes to play. I'd like to get ourselves a winner. Would be nice in the opening game of the season. Romero plays it back. Charles Cesar. First time we've seen him really all game. MUNOZ on that right-hand side with his 11 dribbling or 10 dribbling or whatever it is. Finds Melbourne once again. MUNOZ run. Doesn't bother. Plays it to Charles Cesar. Now Greg Huddle. He's got the bad boy in front of him. Romero. Bad boy Bobby Mills goes for goal. And bad boy Bobby Mills has made it 2-1. He's set up this time by the man he set up in the first half, Eduardo Romero. We are back on top. We've got 12 minutes of normal time to play. I think I might have done something absolutely magical by playing the bad boy Bobby Mills here. He's going to get a Man of the Match award on his, I'd say his debut. It's not his debut, is it? We've got 5 minutes of injury time to play. We do have ourselves a highlight. Marlon Charles to Bobby Mills. Charles gets it back, runs forward, doesn't manage to find anybody. It's all the way back with Butland, though, for Leicester. Forward to Kingalani, maybe. Zelaya heads the ball forward. Rafael Leao's going to collect it though for Leicester. Gets round his man as well. Running down that left-hand side. Do not do this to me. Lodi. Renan Lodi crosses in. Timmy Abraham is there. It's not Timmy. I always call him Timmy. It's Tammy Abraham. Adnan makes a very comfortable save. We've got 2 minutes left to play. The highlight looks like it's going to carry on. Bobby Mills plays it across. Gerard Deeney, who's picked up a knock since coming onto the pitch, goes for goal. Not the best of efforts. Straight into Jack Butland's hands. Corner right at the death of the game, 96 minutes. Renan Lodi has gone off injured. Greg Huddle has gone over to take it. Is this actually a highlight? Andre is there. Gerard Deeney is there. The ball is in the back of the net. It is going to count as well. It's going to be a 3-1 victory. The first game of the season. We're probably up to 4th or 5th now. The start of the second half made that a little bit more nervy, but I'm glad we got over the line. We managed to pick up ourselves 3 points. Charles Cesar ends up getting it man of the match. The bad boy Bobby Mills also finishing on an 8.3. So did Alpha McCalmont as well for Leicester. Gerard Deeney has only picked up a very slight knock with a tight hamstring. That is good. We are definitely up into the Champions League spots. Yes, we are only 1 game in. Shut up. But I'm going to try and cling on to this for as long as I possibly can. Just before we end this episode, I want to just show you 4 players that I'm going to try and play as much as I can realistically get away with this season, just to try and turn them into much better footballers. Obviously, the first one is the bad boy Bobby Mills, who's so far started the season off exceptionally well, scoring his 2nd goal for the club. Then we have Greg Huddle, who I'm training up to be a box-to-box midfielder because I don't have a huge amount of central midfielders. I've just seen he's 23 years old. Maybe he's missed his chance. We've also got Jordan Ormerod, who spent the last 2 years out on loan at MK Dons and Luton before that. Still only 20 years old. He looks really good. I don't know whether he's going to get the opportunity with the amount of decent strikers, and by decent I mean very good strikers, that we still have at the club. And the final one is Eric Horne, a 19-year-old Scottish right-winger, spent last season on loan at Sheffield Wednesday down in the Championship. He did get relegated, but he was still playing in the Championship. I think he's a good little option as well. That is going to do it for this episode. Next episode, I'm not quite sure where we're going to go. I want to see what happens with this mess. I mean, we're obviously going to go through against Dynamo Bucharest. When do we go to the group stages? Maybe it's the group stages. It starts on the 14th of the 9th. Maybe, yeah, it might be the group stages, potentially. Who knows? I know, but not right now, I don't. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Football Manager 2020 with Newcastle United. If you did enjoy, do please remember to leave a like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I'll be back next time with more Football Manager.